اليوم إلى هذه البودكاست لتحسين مهارات الاستماع باللغة الإنجليزية ولهجتكم باللغة الإنجليزية ومفرداتكم باللغة الإنجليزية. يلا نبدأ. In today's podcast, I will be talking to you about my experience in Paris as a woman wearing a hijab. So, I live in England, and therefore it is very easy for me to visit Paris often. However, so far I have only been to Paris twice. The first time I went to Paris, I went by aeroplane. The second time that I went to Paris, I went by train. I took a train called the Eurostar, and the Eurostar goes under the sea in a tunnel. However, you don't see anything. You just look out the window and it is dark outside. So, for both times that I went to Paris as a woman wearing a hijab, I actually had a nice experience. I have to say, there were some people that were not very friendly and maybe didn't, have a nice expression on their faces. And there were a few people that when I asked for directions or asked a question, they did not answer, they did not reply. But I don't know if that was because of my hijab, or maybe they were busy, or maybe they were just fed up of lots of tourists going to see the Eiffel Tower. However, for the rest of the time that I was in Paris, apart from those few people, everybody was friendly and I had a lovely experience. Now, Paris, when you go to the tourist attractions, it's full of people from all over the world. And everybody is just so happy to be in Paris. There are lots of couples and they are going to Paris, maybe the man proposes to the woman for marriage, or I think some people are on their honeymoon, but you can see that there's lots of couples and happy couples in Paris. And there's tourists from all over the world, and they're really happy to be in Paris. So I liked that experience of seeing people from all over the world, and we would go to different places. We went to the Eiffel Tower, to the museums, to the art galleries, and it was a lovely experience. I enjoyed Paris. It reminded me of London in some instances, but it also looked a little bit different to London as well. And I loved the pastries. I did get lots of croissants, and I would sit outside in cafes, drinking coffee, eating a croissant, and watching the world go by. When I went to Paris the second time, it was just after the Paralympics. So the Eiffel Tower had the Olympic symbol on it, and it was lighting up. It was all glittery and lighting up, and that was such a beautiful experience because me and my friends sat and just relaxed in front of the Eiffel Tower. And later on, we also took a boat ride on the famous Paris River, and that was lovely. As we were on the boat, people will be sitting on the riverbanks and they will wave to you and you wave back, and you get to have a tour of Paris from what you can see on the boat. And that was nice because in the distance I could see the Eiffel Tower, and it just felt so lovely to just be on a boat in the sunshine in Paris. I also enjoyed the art galleries. So I did go to the Picasso's museum, I think the first time. And then I went to the famous Louvre Museum. I don't know if I pronounce it right because I do not know French, but it was really, really exciting. I'm sorry if I'm speaking a little bit fast, but it is good for you to experience me speaking fast because it helps you when you are talking to native speakers to understand. You have to practice listening to native speakers speak at their normal pace, because otherwise you will get used to a slow rhythm, and when you come and visit us in England or you meet us in your country, you won't be able to understand us, because native English speakers, we do speak very fast. Okay, so what else can I say about Paris? I think I love the transport network. London has a lovely transport network as well, but I found with Paris, maybe because the second time that I was there, it was during the Paralympics, there were lots of people that were volunteering and helping tourists. So when we weren't sure what ticket to buy to use the underground, I think it was actually to use the tube, they would help us. They were very helpful. There were lots of volunteers, and the volunteers themselves were from different parts of the world. They were all French, but they were African French, white French. So it was really, really interesting. And I, I had a good time. Uh, it was a little bit difficult to find halal food. However, when we were in central Paris, we would just Google nearest halal food restaurant, and then we would take maybe an Uber or transport to the restaurant. Nobody really stared. I had my hijab on. Nobody really stared or anything. And people were okay. So my experience, I would say, in Paris as a woman with a hijab was fine. I suppose it was okay.